has done in her 2+ seasons at Texas A&M, absolutely defying SEC expectations. You look at where they've been picked preseason, Tori, and then where they have finished, both in 2023 and 2024, 5 spots ahead of what they were picked to finish. That's pretty impressive, especially in a conference like the SEC.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trisha Ford comes in, everybody thinks, oh, new coach, you know, they're not going to do much, and then they have a great season, right, and continuing that on, but I think they're holding space for where they're going to finish as we're defying expectations.
First pitch swung at and hit hard by Coco Woolley, but Vandegrift able to chase it down in center field for out number 1.
Yeah, Woolley has been on the ball tonight. First at bat had a single laser to Elistad, third base. That one, it's a great piece, but Vandegrift not out of her reach.
This one popped into left field, but foul. And speaking of not out of reach, it is a little breezy here tonight. That ball just kind of got picked up in the wind, and Vandegrift able to get under it. Obviously, a ton of speed out there in center field. She can get to a lot of anything.
Yeah, the wind's not gusting by any means, but there is a light breeze straight away to center.
Powell tries to lay down that bunt, just misses, fouls it off.
I'm curious if a hitter gets a ball that goes really high and gets up into that jet stream, if it's just enough to be able to push it over. But with both drop ball pitchers going at it, it's going to be tough to elevate that ball.
Brisky elevated that one up out of the zone. Waste pitch on the 0-2 count. Now 1-2 to Kennedy Powell. She reached on a fielder's choice in her first at-bat. Hit into a double play in her first at-bat. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Perez tied for the lead on the team with 6 home runs on the season, hitting .397. Lays off the rise from Brisky, evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Perez, been a lot of fun to watch her this season grow into this role as one of the dominant hitters in this lineup. Gets a little jammed, gets it over to the left side, and will reach safely. Maya Perez legging it out over to first. The ball got away, but I think she might have beat that ball out.
Hey, speed never slumps, right? Maya, not the speedster, more known as the power hitter, but is able to sneak that one in the 5-6 hole. It's a long throw for Hawkins at short. But the Aggies are known to score with 2 outs.
And they will score a single for Maya Perez. So a 2-out single, runner at first, and that's going to bring up Amari Harper. Had a big weekend against Auburn in that series sweep. Swinging at the first pitch into the gap. And it is now.
And made them happen with 2 outs this season. They're picking up right where they left off. The run production, a big hit here with 2 outs would go a long way for Mac Barbara at the plate.
So a quick timeout by Alabama. We are also going to have a pinch runner for Texas A&M over at second base. It's going to be number 99, Kelsey Mathis, coming in to run for Perez. Just goes to show you how important that run is for Texas A&M. You mentioned 2-out hitting, Tori. 49% saw knowing what they were hunting and getting base hits. And you said it, Tori, that ball, that's not a strike.
No.
So it's not a bad pitch by Brisky. Mac Barbara just won that battle.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to tip your cap, right? If you're a pitcher, you make a great pitch, the hitter puts a good swing on it. There's nothing you can do, right? It wasn't in the zone. It's not like you left it fat over the plate. But the same goes for the other way around. Sometimes the pitcher just makes a good pitch and gets the call, and there's nothing you can really do about it.
So Brisky gets the first 2 hitters out of the inning, Woolley and Powell, and then back-to-back, 3 singles in a row. Texas A&M able to tie things up, but the Aggies, I can only imagine, are not wanting to be done yet. Allie Enright steps in. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Harper at second, Barbara at first. Enright 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. That pitch misses low and inside. So 2 balls, no strikes to Enright. This one fouled, well out of play. With 2 outs, both runners will be able to get going on contact. Definitely gives Harper an advantage to score from second with anything into the green. Good eye by Enright there. 3 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs, runners at first and second for the Aggies. Ball 4, and that one back to the screen. Giles does a nice job of hustling back to get it, just to make sure Harper doesn't get any ideas rounding third. Bases loaded now for the Aggies. That is the first walk of the game issued by Brisky.
Yeah, Brisky was cruising there for a little while. I think the singles maybe got into her head a little bit. Remember, this is pitching staff that has been struggling with free passes. Talking to Coach Murphy, said, you know, it's kind of almost like a hitter being in a slump. When you talk so much about the walks, now it's in your head as a pitcher, and it's harder to find the strike zone. And part of me is starting to wonder, did those singles get into her head?
Foul territory down the right field line. Great effort there by Pruitt, but she won't be able to get there in time. DeMint will live to see another pitch. Really nice hustle there by the right fielder. Yeah, that's 42 walks now on the season by Brisky. Here's the 1-1 to KK DeMint. Another foul ball on the right side. This one against the netting, and it'll be strike 2. KK DeMint started off her freshman season hot. She is tied for the lead. 6 home runs on the team. Her and Maya Perez both have 6, but she's cooled off a little bit as of late. Here's the 1-2. Chopper, and they're just gonna tag Mac Barbara. She ended up right by Hawkins. So A&M will leave the bases loaded, but they're able to get one across. We're all tied up. 21-10 on the season, Tori. Versus unranked opponents, obviously doing a great job, 19-3, but versus those ranked opponents, the Tide has come up short.
Yeah, I think Alabama has struggled this year getting all 3 facets of the game to be clicking at the same time, right? The days that they have pitching, they struggle with the defense. When they get the defense going, they can't find that situational hit to just bust open the game. So really still searching for a solid weekend to put all 3 facets, pitching, defense, and hitting together. They've got the talent, but it all comes down to the timing.
8, 9, and 1 hitters up this inning for the Tide. Marley Giles will get things started. Alabama put up 1 in the top of the 3rd. A&M was able to answer back in the bottom of the 4th. And as how we are all tied up here at the 5th. Giles lined out to Allie Enright in center in her first at-bat. Takes that changeup for a ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Grace Sparks remains in the circle for Texas A&M. She's 5-1 on the season with a 2.29 ERA. Coach Ford said when she kind of ate them up at Ole Miss last year, she thought, hey, I would love to have her on my staff.
Yeah, anytime a pitcher can shut down your offense, you're thinking, what could I do with that arm? What could I implement? How could I make her better?
So when the Dayton, Texas native entered the portal, Coach Ford and her staff went right after her. Here's the 2-2. High fly ball into right. Harper bounces out of her glove, and Giles is going to try to leg this one all the way to third, and she does.
Ahead into third base. Leadoff triple, that's huge for the Crimson Tide.
Giles, 1 stolen base on the season, not known for her blazing speed like other players on this team are, but just absolutely legged that one out. Bama,
that's how you know it's a good slide right there. If you're getting the dirt,
Dirt
out
in
of
your
your
pants.
belt, flipping them down, shaking it out.
So Saylin Hawkins steps in now. 1 ball, no strikes. Hawkins had a big hit in her first at bat, a double. Sky high into foul territory. Eshte on the run and does not make the catch. Actually overruns this ball.
That was, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna catch this and I'm gonna let it drop.
Smart play there. Didn't want to let Giles tag at third and score.
Yes, especially anything in foul territory, the angle that you've got towards home plate is just not ideal for trying to throw somebody out. Again, Giles not a green light kid, right? Doesn't steal a lot, but has some decent speed. I think she would have scored easily on that.
Yeah, so great call there by you, our analyst, because to the untrained eye, that looks like Kramer Eshte just overran that ball and didn't make the
crowds.
catch.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. It's about understanding who's on base, where they're going, how many outs there are.
Alabama up 2-1.
Something, but I don't hear anything,
Yeah,
so I think they all saw.
That one pretty clear down the third baseline. So a big RBI double there by Hawkins, and that'll bring up the top of the order for Alabama. So nice job by the 8 and 9 hitters to get things started for the Tide as they take the lead in the top of the 5th, 2-1.
Yeah, you're 9.
2-run shot by the has scored 3 more runs in this ball game.
Yeah, this is huge for Alabama. The tides are quickly changing, pun intended. But, you know, you come out and you're retiring hitter after hitter after hitter. They ran into a little bit of trouble in the 3rd inning, but shut them down quickly in the 4th. And then Grace Sparks just giving up that triple, which I think should have been an out, right? Amari Harper should have caught that ball in right field, and I think you're looking at a different situation if that ball is caught.
Absolutely. And you have to remember, too, Texas A&M left the bases loaded in the last inning. They had an opportunity. They tied it up, but had an opportunity to score even more. Came up empty there with bases loaded, and Alabama has done a fantastic job of answering back. And you and I talked about it a little bit before the game, even talking to Coach Murphy. It felt like this team was right on the cusp. Every loss was close, and they had their opportunities. Is this them finally busting through? Another base hit for Alabama. That's Larissa Pruitt. Able to get one through the gap, and another runner on for Bama.
Yeah, Pruitt. I asked Coach Murphy, who do you expect to have a big game, right? Who do you think is just on the brink of something great? And he said, oh, Larissa Pruitt, like almost immediately. So you can tell a lot about the way a hitter is approaching their ABs, the way that, you know, they're seeing the ball, the way that they're connecting with the ball, by the way the coach is reacting. Is a good start.
That'll be it for Grace Sparks. We'll have your new pitcher when we come back after this.
This is a good start.
That'll be it. 3 earned runs, had 2 strikeouts on the day and 2 walks. Coming to the circle now for Texas A&M. It's going to be number 2, Sydney Peters, the sophomore out of Santa Fe, Texas.
Yeah, Peters, just the complete opposite of Grace Sparks, right? She's got a ton of upspin, very tight spin as well. Her spin rate is through the roof for all of you pitching nerds out there, 22 to 2,400. And she's also got a really good changeup, so able to keep the hitters off balance when she's pulling that string. Gonna have to lock in here. No outs, runner on first base.
Peters, the transfer from Washington. She appeared in 26 games last season for the Huskies with 5 starts, had an 8-1 record. This year for the Aggies, a 1.62 ERA. She is 6-0 on the season. This will be her 9th appearance for Texas A&M, and as you mentioned, Tori, gonna have to really buckle down now. Runner at first, no outs. Alabama has already scored 3 runs in this inning. First pitch swinging is Heveland. Love the aggressiveness there. That ball well foul. Heveland officially 0 for 1 on the night, had a sac fly back in the 3rd. Ten home runs on the season, that leads the Tide. She'll take that pitch for a strike, so Peters working quickly ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. O2 is fouled back to the net.
It's always an interesting approach, too, when you see a pitcher come in halfway through that is completely opposite of the last pitcher that you just faced, right? Grace Sparks coming drop ball down in the zone. You have to really stay connected on that backside and get low with your legs, with your back shoulder. And now you have to flip the script. You have to really try to stay on top of Peters' ball because of how much upspin, likes to go to the curve ball, likes to go to the rise ball, and those are pitches that you tend to pop up as a hitter because of the way it's spinning and the way it comes off your barrel. So now you have to flip your mindset completely now that you're facing a new pitcher, one that has much different stuff than the one you just saw.
Ripped down the 3rd baseline, but well foul. And I think that's what Trisha Ford has done such a great job of with her staff, is built it to where she has these complementary pitchers. She's got kind of an answer for every single one of them. Instead of having a handful that all kind of throw the same, she's got some very different looks on her staff.
Well, that was the goal, right? And getting into that transfer portal and getting pitchers that complement one another and really provide some support for Kennedy, who isn't in the circle tonight, which big story, but you expect your ace to come out and start, but obviously Peters following the starter tonight, Grace Sparks.
Foul tip, but into the glove of Coleman. So first hitter she faces, Peters.
Makes it tough to narrow it down into the strike zone.
Alexis Pupillo steps in now for Alabama. And Tori, you just brought it up. We had not mentioned it. Were you surprised that we did not see Emily Kennedy get the start tonight for Texas A&M?
I think yes and no, right? I think Peters, being back in the rotation and seeing innings, it changes the rotation a little bit. Usually you're expecting to see Kennedy game 1 and game 3, but at the same time, if you can give her a little bit more rest, right? She doesn't have to throw 130 pitches game 1. She comes out fresh for game 2, or maybe, a little Kennedy sandwich effect that she's talked about before that they can utilize. I think we'll see her without a doubt this series. I'm not too concerned about it, but if you're A&M, you got to find your offense, right? We talk about the pitching.
It doesn't matter who's in the circle.
Exactly, it doesn't matter, because if they're going to give up runs to an Alabama team who can swing it this year, I feel like the past 2 years, the offense was the question. This year, the offense is pretty strong. I would say one of the stronger teams, and not being able to find the pitching.
Nice stab by Perez. She'll get the out.
It's a good decision by Perez.
2 outs. Abby Dukeshire steps in, takes the first pitch for a strike. 0 for 2 on the night. Struck out in her first at-bat, grounded out to Coco Woolley at shortstop in her second at-bat. Big swing and a miss there as Peters works ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Popped up sky high, back to the crowd. And the count will remain no balls, 2 strikes. Dukeshire hitting 360 on the season with 2 outs. She's got a runner in scoring position. Peters tries to get her to chase one out of the zone. Nice waist pitch there, but Dukeshire able to lay off. He's first into the bucket of popcorn.
Honestly, I'm using both hands.
I'm a little jealous.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, that popcorn looks really, really good. A couple of young fans out tonight.
We know some people, we could probably get you some.
I was gonna say, it would only take a couple of text messages to get somebody to bring some popcorn up here, but I'm all right. It has been quite the show that Alabama has put on. And now you've got Brisky in the circle with a not totally comfortable, but nice 3-run lead. What does that do to her mentality, especially after we saw her start to get a little rattled in that last inning?
Yeah, well, I think it's a huge statement, not only from Brisky, but from this entire Alabama team. I think if anything, you need a strong start from your starting pitcher, and Brisky has done exactly that. She got into a little bit of trouble, but is able to get out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the 4th.
Texas A&M is going to start things off with a pinch hitter. Frankie Vrajel, the freshman, going to step in for Grayson Coleman. Now, this is a freshman who has had a lot of playing time this season. We've seen her start in right field after Amari Harper broke her finger early on in the season. It was Vrajel who took that spot and really made it hard for the coaches to take her out of the lineup.
Yeah, she was really hot at the beginning of the season. Was really the spark plug for this lineup. You know, when the top half of the lineup was struggling, there she was at the middle/bottom half of the lineup, just starting rallies. And here she continues to find a way to get herself on base.
Here with no outs, Kramer Eshte fouls the first pitch off that she sees. And now you've got good speed at first. This is exactly what Texas A&M wanted after that 3-run inning by Alabama.
Yeah, I think having quality at bats really changes the game. You're looking at 2 outs where you, not that you wasted ABs, but if you're not having as quality ABs and now you're down in a 2-out hole, it's much different.
And Vrajel getting things done on the base path. Giles bobbled the ball behind home plate, and Vrajel, no hesitation, took off to second.
Trusting your instincts, that's the #1 thing as a base runner. You could be fast, you can be slow, but if you're trusting your instincts and you go right away, you don't hesitate, you're probably gonna make it.
Eshte had shown bunt on that last pitch after the stolen base by Frankie. She does not show bunt here and takes a pitch up high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Quick conversation by the home plate umpire with Brisky. So runner in scoring position, Vrajel at second. Kramer Eshte up to bat. She is 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. Counts 2-1. Ground ball to the left side. Nice look back by in the dirt, bobbled, and again, no hesitation. Vrajel takes third.
Man, these balls are not getting very far away from Giles. So the fact that Vrajel is just immediately on go mode.
Sees the ball in the dirt and goes. Check swing, but that does grab a piece of Woolley's bat, so it's gonna be a foul ball for strike 1. Giles is doing a nice job of keeping those balls down in front, but when you've got speed, and again, that no hesitation, Vrajel just doing a nice job of reading the ball. Nice pitch there by Brisky, swing and a miss from Coco. Now the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at third. Texas A&M trying to cut into this deficit. Same pitch by Brisky. Nice eye by Woolley to lay off of it that time. Woolley hitting .361, hitting .409 with runners. Scores for Texas A&M as Vrajel crosses home.
And I got a goose egg in the air column.
I think if you're Alabama, you are ecstatic about that play right there. Yes, you give up the run, but that could have very easily been a run and Woolley safe at first. So with 2 outs, Kennedy Powell steps in for Texas A&M. Lifts this one sky high. Hevlin, it'll find her again, and she makes the play. Texas A&M able to put 1 on the board, but Alabama holds on to the lead. The tied up 4-2.
For 2 Alabama here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, not very often do you see 3 hitters go up to bat and score 3 runs.
Yeah, and also how about your 8-9-1 all with extra base hits?
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
is a huge inning and a huge statement as well for their offense to know that they can hang with a team like Texas A&M if all 3 facets of the game are clicking at the same time. So maybe this is going to be something that catapults Alabama into playing some of their best ball, because as of late it's been one of those facets falling a little bit short.
Texas A&M was able to answer back with 1 run in the bottom of the 5th, but they still trail by 2. Alabama with the lead and really I think with the momentum right now. As you mentioned, Tori, everything looking good for the Tide. 6, 7, and 8 hitters up for Alabama in the top of the 6th. Brooke Elstad right back at Peters, and that ball off her glove, luckily. Just
the angle, right? When they say hit it back where it came from,
right.
Elstad just does exactly that, taking it right back up the middle.
Absolutely. Kennedy Marceau steps in now for Alabama. They got their lead runner on. What can they do with it? Marceau will attempt to bunt, and that ball will be foul, but I have never seen a ball that close to starting foul and rolling bunt again. Up in the air. It's caught by Peters. They try to double off Elstad, but she's back into first.
2-run lead is not sufficient enough to hold this Aggie offense down. So if you're Alabama, you are pushing for every piece of insurance run that you can get.
Marley Giles will step in. She's the one who got things started back in the 5th. It was ruled an error, but ended up on third base, scored on the next hit by Saylin Hawkins. She is quickly down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Speaking of, that ball that was scored an error into right field was by Amari Harper. We just mentioned Harper's at first. There's been a little shuffling on defense for Texas A&M. We'll get to it after this pitch. After Frankie Vrajel pinch hit for Grayson Coleman in that last inning, she moved to right field. They moved Amari Harper to first base, and Dee Baldwin is now behind the plate for Texas A&M. Counts 1-2. Popped up on the infield. Dement calls off Harper, makes the catch for out number 2. And that's just this Texas A&M depth. They've got so many different players who can shuffle around and play in different positions that they're able to make all of those changes, and you still feel, I think Trisha Ford and her staff still feel very comfortable with what they've got out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at Vrajel, who played the majority of these games in right field, so she's no stranger to the outfield. Also, Amari Harper was the starting first baseman for quite a few games last year, so she's got experience at first base. And Dee Baldwin, a freshman catcher that they're bringing in, who has got the best transfer and the best arm on this team as well, trying to combat those speedy legs for Alabama.
Coach Ford told us you will see Dee Baldwin this weekend. She will make an appearance, so.
I want to see somebody try to steal and her make a good throw and just see how it all plays out. I love seeing a good defensive catcher that has a quick transition. There's really nothing like it.
2 balls, no strikes to Saylin Hawkins. She's got 2 doubles on the night, both right down the third baseline. The first one was a little questionable. It was challenged. Second one, definitely in fair territory. So 2 for 2 on the night. Man, you talk about a night for anyone, but your 9-hole hitter to put up these numbers.
You take that every day and twice on Sunday.
Quick conversation with Pat Murphy. This is the first time she has faced Sydney Peters. So both of those doubles coming off of Grace Sparks, the starter for Texas A&M tonight. Peters trying to get out of this inning without any more damage done. Take her offense back into the dugout, trying to work for 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. You know, you can talk winning series all you want and things like that, but it is truly a game-by-game battle. And really, if you want to break it down, out by out, and we've seen that tonight. Brisky working quickly ahead against Maya Perez, one of the most dangerous hitters in this Texas A&M lineup. Perez now will have to battle down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Perez had an infield single in her last at-bat. She's 1 for 2 on the night. Hitting just a notch above 400. Really pretty pitch right there by Brisky, but Perez does a nice job of laying off. In her performance against Florida State on Wednesday, Brisky pitched 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, struck out 3 Seminoles, and only walked 1. Alabama took an early 2-0 lead over Florida State in that ball game, but the Seminoles able to come back and take the win. Texas A&M beating Florida State in a doubleheader earlier this season.
Maya Perez
low shot, it still gets you back into this ball game even more so. You're 1 swing away from tying it up. Huge hit by Perez. Can the Aggies keep it going in the bottom of the 6th?
I do think it keeps the pressure on Alabama, right? The A&M has scored in the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, 1 run in each, sitting at 3, but Alabama has only scored in 2 innings, in the 3rd and then again in the 5th, able to put up a crooked number 3 spot in that top of the 5th inning, but A&M is just kind of being like an annoying little gnat, right? When they're just flying around your face, you're trying to swat it away, you're trying to kill it, you can't catch it, you can't hit it. Like, they are just not going away.
And not going away is Amari Harper. A single into left field, and the Aggies have got something cooking here in the bottom of the 6th.
Chelsea, it's like you can feel in the air, right? As soon as the crack of the bat happened, the crowd erupted. And you can take that and feed in to this game, and as a player, you feel that from the crowd, right? You feel the tension, you feel the buildup, the anticipation for what's about to unfold in this inning, and by the looks of it, A&M is feeling it at the plate now. I think that will bring in another pitcher. I think we're going to see the end of Jocelyn Brisky's outing tonight.
Patrick Murphy comes out, talks to the umpire, and we do see someone coming in from the bullpen. So that'll be the night for Jocelyn Brisky. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have your new pitcher when we come back. In 5 innings, she did give up 7 hits and 3 earned runs. A good outing, I think, for the sophomore Tori. Texas A&M just finally started to catch up to her.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good outing. For me, it was the strong start. Being able to put up a 0 in the first 3 innings was huge for Alabama, giving them some time to put some runs on the board. Of course, not able to make it through, but that's the beauty of having a staff, right? You don't have to throw a complete game. In today's day and age, like, most people aren't throwing a complete game. It's just not something that's happening as often as it used to. We're seeing more of that staff mentality, that rotation, using more of a starter, mid-reliever, and a closer. And we're going to see that again here tonight.
Ailey Johnson is now going to come into the circle for the Tide. She's officially 1-0 on the season. This will be her 16th appearance. She's throwing a 2.84 ERA. Junior out of Fairhope, Alabama. And she's got a tough test, and the first hitter she'll face, Mac Barbara, who swings at the first pitch she sees. Barbara 1 for 2 on the night, had a nice single lead.
That was...
It's so low.
It barely got out of the park.
And then I thought, I might not be giving Pruitt enough of a chance to even make a play on that ball. That ball got out of here so fast and so low. 4th home run of the season for Barbara. She had been quiet as of late. This was a clutch moment for Barbara, a huge, huge hit. And Texas A&M, just like that, as you said, Tori, they would not go away, but they had not put a crooked number up yet until right there, bottom of the 6th. 3 runs, and guess what? Still no outs for Texas A&M. Fly ball into right field. This time Pruitt does get under it and makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, and I think it's such a huge statement just to stay with that home run from Barbara. We were talking earlier about how important it was for her to get hot and provide the protection for some of the other hitters in this lineup like a Maya Perez, but turns out Maya didn't even really need the protection. Alabama went right at her and she crushed a solo home run of her own. But when you add the power of Perez and Barbara together, that is a dangerous duo. And then you add a very hot coming into her own Amari Harper. This is a lineup that can score in a lot of different ways. I mean, the 2 speedsters at the top, Coco and Kennedy Powell, haven't been on base, they have been on base, but haven't gotten to second base. And so you're relying on those power hitters, which A&M's not really been known as like a power team, right? They do have people that can get it out of the yard, but on the lower end in the SEC of home runs, not somebody that's gonna just run into them every inning. So that's a big home run in the grand scheme of the season for Texas A&M.
1 ball, 2 strikes to KK Dement. She is officially 0 for 2 on the night. And Tori, if you're Ailey Johnson, you come in, you give up the single, then you give, or no, excuse me, the single was given up by Brisky before she got taken out. You give up the home run right there by Mac Barbara. Now what is your mindset? Just trying to go in there and kind of stop the bleeding.
I'm gonna be doing that right there. I'm throwing that change up to probably every single hitter that comes up to bat. And Johnson has a great changeup. I would really categorize her as a changeup pitcher mostly because that is the biggest factor when she's in the circle. And when it's on, it's tough to hit. But she didn't throw a bad pitch, right? It was a pitcher's pitch. It was a rise ball out of the zone. Mac Barbara just put a good swing on a good pitch. And again, you just have to tip your cap. There's nothing that she did wrong. It's not like she went in there and threw her a meatball right down the middle. So sometimes it's just like, hey, you got me on that one. You know, you're going to win some of them. I'm going to win some of them.
Dement, high fly ball to left field. Vandegrift camps out underneath and makes the catch. A little bit of a defensive change there for Alabama as well. I just mentioned Vandegrift in left field. White, Kristen White is in center field for Alabama. And Pruitt in right. So,
yes, claw clip. Living.
Ground ball over to first base. Dukeshire makes the play, but Texas A&M a huge... Alabama just looking for a base runner here. This will be the first time that Vandegrift and Pruitt on deck face Sydney Peters. Vandegrift having a night, 2 for 2. She'll see if she can start something off for Bama in the 7th. There's that changeup by Peters, now ahead in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Another defensive change for Texas A&M. Olivia Johnson behind the plate now. So another catcher. We've seen 3 tonight. Again, the depth that Texas A&M has is pretty incredible. Up the middle, and that will get through, and Vandegrift does exactly what she needed to, getting on base. The tying run at first for Alabama.
Alabama is looking for the timely hit, but the timely hit doesn't come without runners on base. You talk about the top of the lineup getting things going. Vandegrift has been phenomenal in that top spot and continues on here in the 7th inning.
Larissa Pruitt now up to bat for the Tide. She shows bunt, fouls that one off. Vandegrift does have 2 stolen bases on the night. One was a dead stolen base, got there. The other one was a 1st and 3rd situation where they threw down but cut it off well in front of the bag. So 39 on the season for Vandegrift. That leads most SEC teams, Tori, not players, teams.
Yeah, you see Audrey Vandegrift stands alone at the top with 39. Auburn as a team, 33. So she's got more than the entire team, more than a couple of them, right? It's not like she's just got, you know, a few here, a few there. No, she is stealing every game. Almost every time she gets on, she's going to find herself attempting to steal second base and usually coming up safe.
She now holds Alabama's single-game record with 5 stolen bases. She did that against Western Michigan earlier this season. Kennedy Powell will try to get the lead runner at second instead of going to first. And they're going to call Vandegrift safe at second. Dement's toe stayed on. You have a challenge left to use. And to get that lead out would be absolutely huge at this point in the game. But from what we saw live, it did look like KK Dement had to come up off the bag to grab that throw from Kennedy Powell.
Yeah, and I think that one also being initiated by Kennedy Powell and KK Dement. She's asking, you know, are you sure you were on it? Were you on the base? And KK Dement's like, yeah, I was on it, but things happen a lot differently from the outside perspective rather than when you're in it. And we can see that it takes her off the base right as Vandegrift is sliding in. You see KK Dement's foot come up.
Review, the ruling on the field is upheld. The runner is safe at second base. That's Texas A&M's second and final challenge of the game.
Runners at first and second for Alabama. Callie Hevelin up to bat for the Tide.
And I think that's the right idea from Powell, but you have to make a strong throw, especially knowing the speed of Vandegrift coming into second and knowing that she's probably getting a little bit of a head start because she sees her squaring around, expects her to get that bunt down.
Nice job by Johnson behind the plate there to keep that ball in front, really in her glove. Anything in the dirt, I can only imagine Vandegrift is going to have the green light on. 1-1 to Hevelin. Big swing and a miss there. Nice pitch by Peters. Hevelin hitting .333 on the season with runners in scoring position. Tying run at second, go ahead on first. Line drive right at Dement. Both runners will get back safely, so a hard hit ball by Hevelin, but a big out for Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's one of those ABs where you do everything right. You pick a good pitch, you put a good swing on it, and it just goes right to somebody. There's nothing you can do. If you're Callie Hevelin right there, you're thinking, I did my job. I'm still taking that as a win in my back pocket and taking that with me for the rest of this series because, I mean, I think we're probably going to see Peters again sometime throughout these next 2 games. And anything that you can get now in this first game is going to help you as you move forward, understanding and taking in the information from Peters, how her ball is moving, where she's going sequencing-wise.
Alexis Pupillo takes a big hack at the first pitch she sees. 0 for 3 on the night, but that 29 RBIs leads the team this season. Can she come through right here with 1 out?
Got to make an adjustment there. It's almost the same exact pitch, and she misses the same exact way both times underneath that ball. Sometimes you tell yourself to get on top, but you're not making as big of an adjustment as you need to. She needs to try to hit this ball on the ground.
Pops this one out of play, back out of the park. So Peters continues to work ahead with a 0-2 count. Peters came in back in the 5th inning. She's looking to close this out. Another foul ball by Pupillo.
Fishing a little bit outside the zone. I can tell that she's really just fired up, right? She wants this hit in this AB, but you have to make the adjustment. With someone as fast as Audrey Vandegrift on second base, all you need is a ground ball up the middle, and most likely she's gonna be safe. So try your hardest to get on top of this ball, get it into the dirt.
Ball goes into the dirt, but Pupillo lays off, and Olivia Johnson, to come into this ball game not having started or played until this moment, and yes, she has started a majority of games this season, has a ton of experience behind the plate, but to make that play and keep Vandegrift at second is huge. Another foul ball against the screen as Peters continues to work.
Olivia Johnson, actually a transfer from Washington as well, so her and Peters have a very good connection as a battery, have a lot of experience together. I think that kind of goes into that choice as well, knowing that Ojo has the best understanding of what Peters throws and how it moves and where she misses.
Pitch misses up and out, evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, Coach Ford mentioned when Peters and Johnson both came in from Washington, definitely gave Peters a little bit more comfort knowing she had a former teammate or a teammate coming with her. Hard hit ball down the right field line, but that is foul. So Pupillo seeing the ball well, making contact, just hasn't been able to get one in between the lines.
I have a feeling that rise ball is coming again. Getting the inkling.
Coco Woolley with a nice stop. Throw is off target, but Kennedy Powell saves the day for Texas A&M, making the catch, keeping her foot on the bag. The 12th man on their feet as the home crowd is looking for a win. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Abby Dukeshire up to bat for the tie. Dukeshire 0 for 3 on the night, 2 strikeouts. She is quickly down to the count, no balls, 2 strikes. The tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first. But the 0-2 pitch with 2 outs. Popped up, back out of play.
I thought it was our time to shine.
It was close. It was close. Your time to shine. My time. My part in any foul ball near us is just letting you have it. High and outside, Dukeshire just able to lay off.
Gotta be able to calm yourself in these big moments. Remind yourself that pressure is a privilege.
Tori, what a comeback for the Aggies.
And a comeback it was. A&M really put the pressure on. It's starting in the 4th, scoring every inning and not letting an inning go by without pressure being applied and creating chaos, whether it be by the long ball, by the just manufacturing runs in the infield. They were able to get it done tonight, mostly highlighted by those big home runs, Maya Perez and Mac Barbara.
We're through game 1. What excites you about game 2 tomorrow?
Seeing Emily Kennedy, the ace, go up against this offense. The Alabama offense looked really good tonight, scored 4 runs on 7 hits, but now I want to see, can you do it against the elite pitchers of this A&M squad, and Emily Kennedy, their ace.